Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, today we are diving into a really powerful idea from the philosopher Cornelius Castoriadis. And trust me, it's an idea that's going to challenge everything you think you know about how society actually works. We tend to think that society just runs. Like it's following these fixed, predictable rules, right? You've got the so-called iron laws of economics, the grand sweep of history. But Castorius comes along and asks this really radical question. What if the foundation of it all isn't fixed? What if it's something we're constantly creating, inventing ourselves? And if that's true, well, that means it's also a lot more fragile than we think. So, to really get what Castoriadis is proposing, we first have to look at the old blueprint he was arguing against. Let's start with a big one, probably one of the most influential theories ever, Marxism. Okay, so what's the core idea here? Well, this view basically says that economics is the engine that drives all of history. The way a society produces and exchanges things, that's the base. And it determines literally everything else. Your laws, your politics, your culture, even your art. That's all the superstructure. So in this model, history isn't random. It's a story with a pretty predictable plot, and it's being written by economic forces. But here's the thing. As the 20th century rolled on, history, well, it didn't follow the script. At all. Capitalism was supposed to collapse under its own weight, but it didn't. It adapted. And why? Because people fought back. Class struggle, political movements, they forced real change. They created new markets. Those so-called iron laws of economics, they got bent by human will. And that proved that something else, something more powerful than just economics, was really driving the story. So if society isn't just some machine chugging along on economic laws, then what is it? This is the question that leads Castoriadis to his really groundbreaking idea. He calls it the social imaginary. The best way to think about it is like a society's collective operating system. It's the software running in the background of everything we do. And here's the key, it's not based on pure logic or some objective material reality. Nope, it's based on a shared creative imagination. It's the whole web of stories we tell ourselves about what's real, what's important, and what's even possible. It's kind of like this invisible script that makes our entire world make sense to us. And this is the really crucial point. He is saying that societies don't discover their rules and values, like a scientist discovers a law of physics. No way. We invent them. We create them. Our reality isn't something we just stumble upon. It's something we actively build, like a constitution. And these powerful, central ideas are what Castoriadis called imaginary significations. Just think about some of the ones on this list. The nation, progress, the market. Can you physically touch a nation? Is progress an object you can hold? Of course not. But wow, are they powerful? They're these massive social creations that we all just agree to treat as real. And because we do, they end up shaping literally everything we do, everything we think, and everything we value. Okay, so where can we actually see this social imaginary at work? Well, the clearest way is to compare really different cultures. There's this one fascinating example from anthropology that just shows how deep this whole thing goes. Okay, get this. For the Kwakiutl people of the Pacific Northwest, the most rational, the most logical thing you could do with a massive pile of wealth was to publicly destroy it. You'd hold a huge ceremony and just get rid of it, all to gain prestige and social honor. Now think about that from our modern capitalist point of view. In our world, our imaginary, that is just bunkers, complete madness. And that's the point. It proves that what drives us isn't some universal human nature. Our motivations are a product of the specific social world we're born into. What's perfectly rational in one society is totally insane in another. And it's not just about money. This applies to our most prized institutions. Take democracy. As Castoriadis so brilliantly put it, democracy wasn't something the Athenians just found lying around like a wildflower. It didn't just grow out of the ground. No, it was a radical, imaginative act of creation, a whole new way of living together that had to be invented, literally, from scratch. All of this brings us to what is maybe the most powerful and, honestly, the most challenging part of Castoriadis' whole idea. Because this isn't just some abstract theory for a philosophy class. It's a genuine call to action. And that brings us to the ultimate question, doesn't it? If we are the ones who create our own society, then can't we also recreate it? Castoriadis says, Absolutely yes. In fact, he argues that recognizing that we have this power is the very definition of a truly free society. And he has a name for this, the project of autonomy. So, what is autonomy? It's about a society moving from being unconsciously driven by its social imaginary, just following the script, to a society that consciously and deliberately chooses its own path. It's about us, as a collective, being able to look at our own institutions, our government, our economy, our deepest values, and say, hey, wait a minute, we made this. And if it's not working for us anymore, we have the power and the right to make it all over again. So in the end, if our entire social world is built on a foundation of imagination, that leaves us with two things, doesn't it? A pretty profound responsibility, but also an incredible freedom. It forces us to ask ourselves, what are the invisible stories, the imaginary beliefs that are shaping our lives right now? And maybe more importantly, what will we together dare to imagine next?